everybody. Hello, welcome. Hi. Good morning. We're just waiting for this thing to start up. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another morning meeting with one of our ambassadors here at the Center for Wildlife. We are going to be hanging out with Percy today. Percy is our sweet little spotted turtle ambassador, and I'll show you guys why they're called spotted turtles. It's for all of these beautiful spots that you see on Percy's shell. He has quite a few, and what's really cool about these little tiny teeny turtles is that they are just super outgoing and fierce. So we are so excited to have Mr. Percy, and we'll be talking all about spotted turtles today. Let me know when you're here by leaving a comment, and let me know where you're from so we can connect virtually across. We've gotten so many people contacting us from all across the country. It's really cool. Across the world, we've had a couple of people contact us from everywhere. So it's awesome. But this is Percy. Good morning, Percy. Hi, you're so cute. Good morning, Tiffany. Hello. Good morning, Catherine. Hello. Percy is a is a spotted turtle, and I'll show you guys again why we call them spotted turtles. Hello, Jessica in Chicago. Hello. And spotted turtles are actually an endangered species of turtle. So we're so grateful to have Mr. Percy here. Sorry, bud. And they are very tiny. They stay this small. This is about as big as they get. So Percy is originally brought to us from Connecticut. He was taken out of the wild and somebody kept him as a pet, and their small size really doesn't help them in this situation because they're so cute and tiny that people think that they could make good pets. And they are an endangered species, so of course taking those individuals out of the wild really does a number on their population. So these guys are very small, very sweet, but definitely a wild turtle. Good morning, Yvette. Hello. So Percy came to us because he was originally taken from the wild for the purposes of keeping as a pet, and then somebody realized they didn't want to keep him anymore. Turtles are generally tricky to care for in captivity. They have a lot of different requirements than a lot of pet owners are used to, so people that have had dogs or cats probably aren't ready for all of the care requirements that turtles and snakes and other reptiles have, because these guys at least are semi-aquatic, so they need a water tank that also has some areas where they can haul out and bask and be on land. They have very specific dietary requirements. Hi, guy. You're so cute. In the wild, these guys would mostly eat insects, and some vegetation, some decaying matter. They love to live in like bogs and marshes, any place with like slow moving or almost standing water. These guys love that. And so the spotted turtle can be really challenging to care for properly because maintaining that environment in a tank in your house is really hard. So he was given to a rehabilitator down in Connecticut after the person who had him as a pet decided they couldn't keep him anymore, and then the rehabilitator had him in with some other painted turtles, and he was bullying them. So she was looking for a place that could take him to be a solo spotty, because he was just picking on his friends. So he lives with us now at the center solo, and that's okay. In the wild they would normally be pretty solitary, and he loves it here. He has a great time. He's very active and spunky. These guys are really outgoing. And we'll see him in his tank, swim right up to us. He loves to interact. He also loves to hunt. So when we give him food, we try to give him as much live food as we can. So he loves to eat like mealworms, insects. He really loved this spring. We were able to give him quite a few tadpoles. He loved those. So he's a really outgoing and active little guy. You're so cute. They are federally up for relisting. They're threatened federally, but they are due for relisting as endangered. These guys are most commonly found along the eastern seaboard in some of our most developed areas from Maine to Florida. And so their habitats are often fragmented by development or roads, and that can unfortunately cause these guys to have a really hard time. So they are declining, definitely. But what's really exciting is that we have actually had a successful hatching of 5 spotted turtle babies in our medical clinic. We're so excited. Our medical clinic is able to extract eggs from parents or moms that have been hit by cars. This happens all the time because their habitats are fragmented by roads. They have to cross those roads to get from one end of their habitat to the other. And these guys can often travel, an acre to 5 acres in their habitat. So if we get a female that's hit by a car, and this happens with turtles a lot, we are actually able to extract any eggs that she might have been carrying to go lay. So we have had 5 spotted turtle babies hatch out of these eggs in the last couple of weeks, and we're so excited. They are adorable. They're really tiny. We have some pictures on the website, on the Facebook page, so definitely go back. I think last week there were some posts about them. So cute, and they are very spunky from the minute they're hatched. They're very outgoing. They're walking all around. They're exploring. So they're amazing, and we're going to give them a little bit of a head start so that when they do go and be released back out into the wild, they'll have a better chance of surviving on their own. So we're so excited. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Katie. Hello. So Percy here, we call them spotted turtles, obviously, for the spots on their shell. You guys can see all those beautiful spots. And what's really cool about spotted turtles is that, hi Perry, good morning, is that all of their spots are unique. So these guys have different arrangements of spots. Every individual has their own specific spot fingerprint almost. And so all of these spots are going to be in different locations on different turtles. And researchers will actually use that to their advantage when they're out tracking turtles. They will even sometimes connect the dots on the shell. They'll sketch the arrangement in their field notebooks, and they call them constellations. So these little dots, the arrangement of those dots look just like stars in the sky. So they call these constellations, and every turtle has its own unique arrangement, its own unique constellation. And so very often we'll see painted turtles named Orion or Andromeda, something like that. We named him Perseus after the Perseids, which are coming this week, which is very exciting. They're coming on the 12th and 13th, so there'll be a cool meteor shower. But the Perseids are a meteor shower, not necessarily a constellation, but we loved the name Percy. So that's why we named him that. Hi, buddy. This is about as big as spotted turtles get. They might get a little bigger. We've seen them maybe get up to the size of like a small painted turtle, but they're pretty tiny guys. They're pretty little, small, diminutive little turtles. They're very sweet, but they're fierce predators. A lot of people don't realize that these guys are predators. They will hunt for insects that live in the habitats that they like, which again are like slow moving or standing water areas. So any of the insects that like to live in those, like like the water gliders or any bugs that live in the water, these guys love to eat them. So I know, Rory, it's so cute. Good morning, Chuck. Hello, good morning. We have Percy with us today. Hi, buddy. You're so cute. You're so cute, Percy. So Percy, because he is so active, we do actually try to get him on walks. He loves to go out and explore. He loves to explore the vegetation that we have around here. When we have our little like ponds and things set up, he likes to go and explore those. And we do sometimes give him little tubs of wild water to kind of explore in. He's very active, as you guys can see. He's moving all around. He's moving and grooving. But he's very sweet. You're a good boy. Good morning, Sue. Hello, Sue and Wyndham. Good morning. So spotted turtles have, for the most part, very similar adaptations to a lot of our other semi-aquatic turtles, like our painted turtles. They have this very flat shell, so you guys can see he has a pretty sleek shell. He can certainly move quickly in the water if he wants to. Good morning, Penelope. Hello. So they have a very sleek shell, and then they also are very speedy in the water. They don't have as much webbing as our painted turtles do on their feet, though. So you can see his feet have more claws than tons of webbing. And that's because he's living in boggy and marshy areas. So he doesn't necessarily need a ton of pushing of water power. He's not living in big open watery areas. He needs claws that will help him to get through vegetation. And then he also is going to be using these claws to help him to hunt and to get around. So these claws are a little bit different from, these feet are a little bit different from other aquatic turtles. He still does have a little bit of webbing, so he still is, you know, he still is getting around in the water, but these guys are meant to live in kind of a vegetated watery area, so the claws help them to kind of maneuver through that. They also, based on whether or not they're male or female, will have different colors, different shapes, different patterns on them. So I've heard that the females will have more spots. So Percy is a male, so he might have fewer spots than a female. I've heard that they tend to have, he is so pretty, Susan. I've heard that they do tend to have, the females do tend to have more spots. They also, the males will have more of this orange coloration. So you can see he's bright orange in color on his legs and on his body. Hi. He's so active today. And the females will be a little bit less brightly colored. And that's typical of a lot of turtles as well as birds, right? I know, Perry, there are so many birds in the background here. I'm sitting in between a couple of enclosures that have raptors in them. That is a broadwing hawk that we are rehabilitating. We actually, yesterday, we got in our 6th broadwing hawk. We have a bunch of them right now. Their migration season is just starting. They'll be moving, you know, kind of slowly down south from where they are way up north. But we've been getting a bunch of them. It could also be a lot of juveniles that are just kind of for the first time out on their own and having a hard time getting started being on their own. So the high-pitched screeching that you're hearing is a broadwing that's in one of our raptor enclosures right next to me and will be hopefully released soon. We have to get them out before the whole flock starts migrating. So we want to make sure that they have plenty of time to get down to South America where they spend their winters. So we have some broadwings over here, and then Perry is, or Bertram is over on the education side, you know, of course, always yelling about his breakfast. So that's, you know, that's who we have. We also have some gulls around here in care that are making a lot of noise. We have lots of wild crows and ravens that live in our area. So there's always somebody saying something at the center. Perry asks, how many eggs do the females typically have? That's a really good question. So they usually will lay, you know, somewhere between like 5 and 7 eggs. And so we just got 5 from one spotted turtle mama that we had. I don't know if you guys can see him stretching his neck back. So turtles will do this when they get flipped over on their backs. When turtles flip over on their backs, a lot of people worry that they aren't able to right themselves. So when they're like this, and we won't do it for long, but when they're on their backs, they do have a hard time getting back righted the right way, but they have a strategy that they've evolved, and their instinct when they get on their backs is to stretch their neck backwards because they actually use their nose against the ground kind of like a pivot point, so they will be able to flip themselves over that way. They'll get rocking and they'll flip their head back. So whenever Percy has you know, is unable to go where he wants to go or unable to move, and so I'm holding him right now, he can't really move too much, he'll start stretching his neck back because his instinct is to try to right himself. He thinks he's flipped over, he can't move. So we see our turtles do that sometimes when we're holding them. They're like, why can't I move? I must be stuck. I need to reach back and fix myself. So he's very sweet. He's a good boy. Hi. Yeah, so we are so excited about those little baby turtles that we have. They are super sweet. We have 5 of them. And in the wild, there's usually not a very good, usually a very high infant mortality rate amongst turtles. Those that hatch out and emerge from the shell, which is not always 100%, those have to go out and survive until they're around like 15 to 17 years old before they can have their own young. So that's a long time for these small turtles to survive. Percy here is probably only a few years old. But in the wild, when they're very small, they're hatched from their eggs at about the size of like less than a quarter. These little spotted turtles are very small. And their shells are really soft when they first emerge from the shell. And they are very good food. We call them turtle popcorn or raccoon popcorn. A lot of animals will prey on them when they're that tiny. And so getting to the point where they can have babies is one of the big struggles for most turtle species out there, and it is what makes them so hard to conserve, is that they have such a long time between when they are hatched to when they can have their own babies. That makes it really hard to increase their numbers. And so what we're doing is we're going to keep the spotted turtle babies with us until next spring, so that they have the winter season to grow, to get bigger, and to get a little bit of a head start on their wild counterparts. And this is why, we call it a Head Start program, is these guys will get a head start when they're out in the wild. They will be able to go off and have their own babies a little bit easier. They have gotten through that really vulnerable time of their life. I know, you just want to move and groove. Hi, buddy. As always, guys, there's a donation button on our videos. We really appreciate all of your support and that you are watching every day. It's amazing. So thank you guys so much, and we will definitely keep doing these for as long as we can, as long as you guys are enjoying it. We will keep doing our videos. Perry, the genders on the spotted turtles, we could probably do that now. Usually the way that you tell with spotted turtles. Thank you so much, Tiffany. That's so sweet. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. We really appreciate the donations. It's amazing. The spotted turtles, usually you go by kind of the length of the tail is an indication of their gender. The colors, which don't tend to develop until they get older. So these things might just take a little bit of time to emerge on our babies, but I think we could probably figure it out soon. They all look very similar when they're first hatched, though. In fact, they all have an attached little yolk sac that they get nutrition from in the egg. It's still attached to their shells, and it's where they get a lot of nutrition. It's kind of like a little turtle belly button. And so that little yolk sac will dry off and drop off after a few days, but when they first hatch, they still have this little yolk sac attached to them. Hi, Naomi in Rhode Island. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and asking any questions. If you have any questions about Percy, we're happy to answer them. Percy is certainly excited to be out and about. He loves being out and exploring. We actually have Percy on a little bit of a diet. I don't know if you guys can see. Hello. I don't know if you guys can see this right here, but Percy has a little bit of extra fat on him. So if you see right here in his little armpits where it kind of looks puffy, that's fat. So he's on a diet. He's on a little turtle diet. And it's funny because he eats so little to begin with. They eat very little because they're so small and their metabolisms are so slow. But putting him on a diet seems to have helped a little bit. He loves his food, though, so it's sometimes a little bit challenging. Yeah. Good morning, Naomi. Hello. Welcome. Percy, for those of you guys who are just joining us, is our spotted turtle ambassador at the Center for Wildlife. He has been with us for a couple of years now. He's originally from Connecticut and was taken from the wild to be a pet, which is not legal. These guys are endangered and really need to be left in the wild. But then the person who had him decided they couldn't keep him as a pet anymore because these guys can have some pretty intricate care needs. They can be difficult to take care of. And so they gave him to a rehabilitator. The rehabilitator had a few spotted turtles and he was picking on the other ones. So she was looking to get him to another location that could home him. And we love Percy. We are so excited to have a spotted turtle ambassador. So we're very grateful that he's with us. But it's just, he had a long road to get to us. And we are at the top of his range here in southern Maine. So they are somewhat rare to see in our area, but not necessarily uncommon. And we do get spotted turtle animals into our medical clinic all the time. So we have the babies that have hatched with us, and then we have a few. We've had a few adult individuals throughout the year as well. Most of the time, these guys are coming into us because they're either they were pets, and folks don't know what to do and want to rehome them and don't know where to take them. They often are hit by cars because their habitats have been disrupted and bifurcated, and these guys have a hard time getting across roads. That's why those turtle crossing signs go up in the spring and fall, is to make sure people are aware of these guys and oh hi and keep their eyes out for our turtles. And then the other thing that these guys will often have to deal with is people so we've got road crossings, habitat fragmentation in general. So their habitats being destroyed or developed on. These guys have a hard time with, they don't really change habitats. They kind of stay in the same area for millennia. These guys are very, very ancient. They've been in the same location for a long, long time. So their habitats are really important to preserve and conserve, and all along the eastern seaboard is their home range, so very, very developed areas. Hi buddy, you're so sweet. If you guys have any other questions about Percy, please let me know. He's dying to go on a little walk, and we're on my computer, so we are stationary, but if you guys have any other questions about Percy, I'm happy to answer them. He is so, so sweet. Hi buddy, he's got a cute little smile. Yeah. And he's very active. He's a really active boy. These guys in the winter will actually bury themselves into the mud and into the banks of like a stream or the marsh that they're living in. They'll go under the mud, under the water, and they'll stay there all winter long. So they become really inactive in the winter, and they don't really emerge until spring. And then they become more and more active in like April and May. What's his diet, Susan? That's a great question. So these guys are mostly insectivores. They really like to eat a lot of insects out in the wild, a lot of insects that live in water. So any bugs that you could find in the water, these guys are going to be wonderful hunters for. They are very fast in the water, and they're really, really good hunters. They also will eat some vegetation, and some like decaying matter, so carrion, dead things. They will eat, but they love protein. Percy in particular really, really likes his protein. In fact, to get him to eat his food very often, we have to soak it in like fish juice, because he won't eat his food, his like turtle pellets or his greens or any of the good things for him. He won't eat those unless they're soaked in something fishy. So he is a little bit picky, and this diet makes it tricky too, because the protein is really what makes him chubby. Yeah, you're such a cutie. Yeah, but he loves hunting for bugs. We'll take him on walks out here, and he'll kind of walk around and look for insects. He loves getting to explore some wild water. We'll often get some like water in a tub and let him explore what's in there. So all of the bugs that are in the water he really enjoys hunting for. They're very speedy. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know and I'll respond to them if I don't get to them here. But thank you guys so much for joining and for donating. We really appreciate it. We will be back again tomorrow with some more of our ambassadors. Kristen will be back tomorrow with these guys. Hi, honey. We're going to take this guy on a walk. He needs it. He needs to use up some energy. He's got he's got places to go. I know, we're so excited. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week for more of our morning meetings. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day.